There are three things you need to understand when you are preparing a presentation: yourself, your audience, your issue.
Anxiety is with us. It's going to stay. How do I get rid of the anxiety is the wrong question. The question is, how do I become effective, or how do I deal with that anxiety? How do I say what I need to say or be who I want to be in spite of that anxiety? Knowledge of self is important. And what you're willing to do with, what you're willing to take responsibility for, what you're willing to let go. We do share values. We do share ideas. What we have to do is find ways to universalize those values, whether you're conservative, left, right, Democrat, Unitarian, or Catholic, or whatever. What are those human values and those human points of empathy that we can relate to? Always regard your opponent as an ally. A friend of mine, a professor who will remain nameless now, was called upon to speak to an organization of state police. And this fellow, friend of mine, this was in the 70s, and at that point he had long hair and a beard, and so longer than mine, and dressed in jeans, and so he looked like Charles Manson. He looked like Charles Manson, and he's going to go speak to the state police about responsibility and civic duty and so on. And I thought, how is that going to happen? He started off talking to them about police as a minority group. He said, it must be terrible when you go on your job trying to do what you need to do and people are calling you pigs. And so on. He talked about several incidents that he knew about how police had been wrongly accused, how they had been maligned in certain areas and weren't able to defend themselves and so on. And in 10 minutes or so, he had converted from a hostile audience to an audience that was willing to listen. Again, always treating your opponents as an ally, as a powerful kind of thing. That when you can affirm the other is the only time that a connection can be made. All right. Don't try to cover more than 2 or 3 points, maybe 4. The audience is only going to remember about 10% of what you say. Martin Luther King came to speak. And of course he packed the house. I was in a balcony looking down on him. And he spoke for about 45 minutes. The topic of his speech is, we've come a long way in civil rights, but we've got a long way to go. The next day of class, our professor asked, how many times do you think that he said, we've come a long way, we've got a long way to go? And I said, well, you know, everybody in class must have said it about 4 or 5 times. He said it 17 times in the course of that speech.